What do you think of child support?
And that's another interesting thing, because a lot of these arguments, it goes beyond man and woman, and it goes into the larger sphere as a whole, right? Because we talked earlier about war and how a lot of men used to die, and that doesn't happen anymore. So what you used to have in societies, and I'm not saying I have all the answers, I'm just commenting, right? What you used to have in societies is a bunch of men would die at war, because men have more dangerous lives than women. There'd be a bunch more women than men. The top G's would impregnate a bunch of women, and the top G's could take care of the women, and that'd be it, et cetera, et cetera. That's now changed, right? So a lot of the reason that monogamy is pushed is because it's good for society. And it is good for society. It's good for society as a whole to have a man, a woman, a family, they're together, the man provides for the woman, et cetera. The government doesn't want to pay for all these kids. If you don't have child support, who's paying for these kids? The government does it. It breaks down, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why child support is enforced in many parts of the world. In certain other parts of the world, child support isn't enforced because they have religious beliefs or genuine family beliefs that keep the families together. But in the Western world, now you need child support because you've broken things down to the point where men don't want to be married to chicks. Chicks don't want to listen to the man. The man can't even be the man in his own household. He can't even feel respected where he goes. His woman gives him no status. And now he doesn't want to fucking deal with her anymore. So how do you get that kid paid for?
He sounds heartbroken.
Tell the man, or you go to jail.
So I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I made $49,000 in the last 30 days copying and pasting.
And you just come along with the fucking long arm of the law and you fuck him. And so, yeah, it's difficult. It's hard to answer. Yeah, but it's hard to answer. The true answer to all of it is an idealistic answer. I don't like to think idealistically and talk idealistically, but it's the truth. The true answer to it is to instill in the man a sense of duty in which he wants to take care of his woman regardless, because that's his child. But you will do that. I'll tell you how you do that. You do that by inspiring out of the man by being a very good woman. So I'll give you an example. If I had a child with a woman, and she was always a great woman to me. She never cheated on me. She was a good woman to me. And I was running around being whatever. And she's like, look, I just can't put up with you anymore. You're top G. You're going to do what you're going to do. I'm going to look after your kid. You can see him anytime you want. I care about you. Please don't leave me in poverty. I'd say, cool. 100%. I'm not a fucking dickhead.
Can I
cool,
say, but that's a real man though, because I was in a situation but I was just in a situation like that to where it's like hearts don't break even, and that's the reality too. It's like if those morals and principles are not instilled in a man, none of that shit matters. So obviously the child support stuff obviously hits close home to me because I'm already $50,000 just in lawyer fees trying to get him to provide. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it sucks because it's like you play in the NBA, like why don't you want to do more? And it's just because, again, of the relationship. It's personal. It's not about our son.
Personal. That's right.
So it's like, if you're not.
So I just feel like.
Yep. Go ahead.
As a child of divorced parents, and hopefully not a future divorcee or divorcee, but I think paying for your child should not matter on who the parent is. That's your child. Like, take care of your child. I think child support should always be a thing from both parents so you can support your kid. Right?
But okay, give me your give me how that works for you personally.
Okay, I mean, like, you created this child. Don't make it hard for this child to live in this world. Like, if your kid wants to do sports and that costs money, and the mom who you're no longer with is like, hey, can you help out? Yes, that's your kid's that's your kid's interest. How about your kid?
But I think there's multitude of levels to this, right? I think the number one level is there is a form of women scamming men out of tens, if not hundreds of $1,000s. And
I think those women are bad to do that because, again, it's not about them; it's about the child.
That's number one. It should be a cap on child support. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you also have to take into account the different perspectives. And I get what you're saying. Don't get it twisted. I do understand what you're saying about being there for your kid. But to some degree, let's say me and you got together and then we had a marriage and things fell out because
we wouldn't have a marriage because you don't believe in marriage.
We had a serious relationship, all right? And we had a kid. Okay. And we break up and you start to get child support from me and you was a bitch, you was blah blah blah, you was basically a bad person towards me, right? I would now have resentment because I gotta pay you and then you gotta use the money for the kid. So now I might have a little bit of resentment towards you and the child. Even though you should, try to separate the feelings between the mom and the child, etc. It's still hard nonetheless.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah. So there's probably multitude more layers of that.
I just think people need to know when you bring a child in this world, like, step aside your own feelings. Like, I agree to some extent. Yeah. Or what if, like, you create an account designated to the child and like they can be the only ones to access it if it reach a certain age.
Well, to reach it, but I don't want to get into it. But the point is, that wouldn't work until that child can be financially, illiterate. First of all,
so I think it's so complicated.
Yeah, exactly.